Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. That last film, silent film, was from the Oregon Archives, and it is a proto Shake Hands with Danger industrial uses for Caterpillar tractors. Beautiful footage, and I posted this on YouTube some time ago, and people went nuts over it because there are people that love antique tractors and antique industrial machines, and so this was just stunning for people. What was this for? Was this a promotional film, or was this just early, what we call heavy equipment porn? Something that kids really dig, and of course adults dig as well, seeing these big pieces of equipment move earth. It's hard to say, but really phenomenal footage. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. I got a film set up here on the telecine, and this one's a lot of fun, and it has a crazy soundtrack. So here we go. This is wait, that's not right. I have to change the name of it. This is frame-by-frame animation.
A single frame of film is a moment in time. Pieced together, these single frames create motion. Film run through the camera at 24 frames each second results in normal action. By changing the number of frames per second, we can achieve the effect of slow motion. Another change in the number of frames per second results in speeded up action. Film may also be run through the camera one frame at a time, which allows us to do a number of extraordinary things. And that's what this film is all about. One way to make a frame-by-frame film is to begin with a number of pictures. These pictures are photographed 1 or 2 frames at a time. variation of the last idea is to use both colored papers and pictures. Photographing a colored paper frame between each picture frame results in a flicker film. Another single frame technique uses cutout figures. The figures are moved a little at a time, and the camera records 1 or 2 frames of each new position. Projected, this series of single frames shows us the cutout figure moving. Another way to make figures move is to begin with a series of drawings on tracing paper. Each new drawing is changed slightly from the previous drawing. Each drawing is aligned on pegs and photographed. Projected, this series of drawings creates motion. Objects can also be moved a little at a time, and the camera records 1 or 2 frames of each new position. Projected, the objects move. People can also move a little at a time, and the camera records 1 or 2 frames of each new position. Projected, this runner moves without using his legs. Designs can be drawn directly on clear film, frame by frame. Projected, these drawings bounce to life. Recording live action 1 frame every 30 seconds or so produces unusual effects. Frame by frame, drawings, pictures, objects, and people come to life on film.
So I know that that was pretty much an assault on our adult eyes, but if I had seen this as a child, I probably would have really dug it. And some of my early experiences with film were related to doing animation. I grew up in a rural part of North Carolina, in Albemarle, Stanley County, and it just happened that our library had a summer film program, which I signed up for, and we did animation, and we did other types of productions over like a 2-year period, 2 summers, and was very enamored with it and was hoping to do some more with it, but just, I was a kid, so my attention span wasn't to where I could just, set up and do this animation. And plus I didn't have an allowance or anything, so buying film was very expensive at the time. I'm sure that if I had really pushed it, then we could have done more. My parents would have supported it, but yeah. So people often ask who this is. This is a local weatherman, former weatherman, Greg Fischel, who now is in Florida. I'm in North Carolina. So, all right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's find out about flying to Europe. Everything you need to know about flying to Europe, according to TWA's travel advisor.
This is International Airport, where thousands of people to the far corners of the world. Some are going on urgent business. Others are on European vacations that they have dreamed. Henry and Frances Stewart never really expected to go at all. That's Henry doing all the talking. He's saying goodbye to his friend Bill. And that's Frances. She's just as excited.
Eastbound Constellation flight number 980 is ready for departure at gate number 8. Non-stop service London. All aboard, please.
Come on, folks. Better snap it up. No, the Stewarts never really planned a flight to Europe. At least Henry didn't. Until one day, his wife said,
Henry, I want to go to Europe.
but it takes more than that to get Henry's nose out of the financial page for long. Of course, he didn't realize what was happening. Frances wanted to go to Europe so badly that her imagination was running away with her.
Henry, I'm serious. Put that paper down and listen to me. Let's go to Europe.
All right, dear. Someday we'll make the trip, won't I?
Not someday. I'm tired of dreaming about our trip. I want to go now, this year.
But, honey, how can we do it on budget? Besides, you know all the rigmarole there is to going abroad. Remember, I only get 2 weeks.
16 days, counting the weekend. And here's someone who could help us. Mary Gordon. She's a travel advisor, and there's a pay-later plan. We can write to her. Here, look.
Well, maybe it takes an expert to do it, but I don't see where...
Oh, Henry, wouldn't it be marvelous if we could go this year?
Well, why not write Mary Gordon, see what kind of trip we can make? Doesn't cost anything to ask.
No, it didn't cost anything except a postage stamp.
It was nice to receive your letter and to hear that you and your husband are planning a trip to Europe. I can't think of anything that would be more fun, and I know you both will have a wonderful time. 2 weeks may not seem like a long time, but when you fly, you see so much and do so much that you really pack a month's vacation into 14 days. For instance, in 14 days, you could visit London, Paris, and Rome, with stopovers in Switzerland, Madrid, and Lisbon. In fact, it is possible to visit 16 extra cities on a flight to Rome. I used to think that arrangements for an international flight would be very complicated too. But I discovered that all you need is a passport and a health certificate. You want to know how much you will have to spend while you are traveling. I hope the leaflet I am sending on ways to stretch your travel dollar will be of help to you. In the meantime, you can attend a travel talk I will be giving in your neighborhood next week.
Henry, she answered my letter.
Who?
Mary Gordon. Listen to this. I'm speaking to your local women's club on the 10th of this month at 11 a.m. I would love to have the opportunity to meet you there.
When you've decided where we're going, let me know, dear.
Last week, I received this letter from an 8-year-old. Dear Mary Gordon, I would like to go to Africa and see the animals. Do you think you could get me on one of those planes? I weigh 60 pounds. I have $3.60 saved. Your friend, Jimmy O'Toole. P.S. Please don't tell my mother. Now I would like to show you some pictures of my trip abroad last year. We left New York in this plane, and in a matter of hours we were flying over Spain. I think it's exciting to know that today there is no place on the globe farther away than 24 hours. Who would have dreamed even 10 years ago that people could fly above the clouds in such beautiful surroundings? It's so pleasant just to sit back and relax. Meals are brought right to your seat. Just imagine cooking a dinner like this at 18,000 feet. Some of you mothers will be interested to know that several women on our plane were traveling with infants. The hostesses call the transatlantic flight the 6-bottle trip. Our first stop was Madrid. This bull ring is as popular as the Yankee Stadium. The Spanish bullfighters are idolized by their fans, who wish them luck before each performance. If a matador fights the bulls with grace and daring, the crowd honors him, wildly tossing hats and seat cushions, even their furs into the ring. From Spain, we flew east, nearly 5,000 miles to India. This beautiful mausoleum, the Taj Mahal, was built by an emperor in memory of his beloved wife. A fairy tale in marble. Back to Italy and Rome. This is St. Peter's Square and the Vatican Guards. In the Colosseum, you can almost see the ghosts of the gladiators of other centuries. Although Venice is also an ancient city, it has a very different feeling. Venice is music, relaxation, and sun rolled into one. Finally, Paris. By this time, I was feeling right at home in Europe and began to appreciate the charm of the little shops and corner restaurants as much as the beauty of the great monuments. London was just as I hoped it would be, filled with tradition and ceremony, but friendly. Now to Germany. Once again, a beautiful, peaceful country, where little boys ride modern bicycles down ancient cobbled streets, and village people still dance the old country dances. Perhaps some of you are thinking, could I ever take a trip like that? Or could I travel to Europe alone? Of course you could. The recipe for a successful trip abroad is simple. A moderate amount of planning and a pinch of the spirit of adventure. You can get an idea of what you might like to do by looking over these booklets. You'll find many helpful travel tips for the countries you want to visit. For instance, this one on Spain tells about hotels, restaurants, places to see, and where you can find the best bargains. Shopping is half the fun of traveling. I thought maybe you'd like to see some of the things I brought back from my trips. This is a Spanish comb of tortoise shell. The women wear it whenever they want to dress up for a special occasion. Bullfights, or going to church, or on holidays. Goes over. It's lovely, isn't it? This is a cap from Brittany, a lace-making center in France. And this is a marvelous gift for a man, one he'll treasure for a long time. A Borsellino hat, of very fine Italian felt. I bought this devil mask in Salon. Isn't he fierce? In the old days, devil masks were used by the Sinhalese to frighten away evil spirits. And this exotic necklace from Egypt. Striking, isn't it? And finally, a sari from India. These are just a few of the things you can buy. And your purchases are easily carried in this collapsible bag. If you're worried about what clothes to take, just relax. This booklet which I have prepared contains a checklist of all the things you'll need. There's one simple rule. You must choose a basic color and build your wardrobe around it. Then you will need only one set of accessories for all your costume changes. A word of caution. Think before you rush out and buy an entirely new wardrobe for your trip. The clothes you wear at home are suitable almost anywhere in the world. And remember, shoes can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So do take along a pair of sturdy walking shoes. And when you pack, be sure to use a 26 or a 29-inch suitcase, because this size accommodates the full length of a skirt. One bag will hold a complete travel wardrobe. And a wool suit is very useful. Dresses of the miracle fibers or of wool, silk, or knitted fabrics are the best travelers because they don't wrinkle easily. I pack a bag in 3 layers. Into the bottom go your shoes, your cosmetic case, night-on lingerie, and all bulky articles, including your jewelry case. Suits and dresses make up the 2nd layer. When packing a skirt or a dress, try to cover as much as the suitcase as possible. For a full skirt, fold the extra material into triangular folds. Then, fold the bodice back across the skirt so that the fold comes at the waist. For a gathered skirt, let it fall into natural folds. Just like that. And if a jacket is laid across the width of a suitcase, the collar, lapels, and shoulders won't wrinkle. The 3rd layer is for the things that you need to get at easily. Your night things, and packable raincoat or umbrella. If you need a pair of shoes, you know exactly where they are. And the 2nd and 3rd layer of clothing can be lifted out together several times without the need to repack. It's as simple as that. A well-packed bag will give you freedom to enjoy yourself. Concentrate on having fun, seeing new places and meeting new people.
What's all this, Henry?
The bags we'll need for the trip.
But we only need these 2.
Only 2. Oh, you mean for you?
No, silly, for both of us. I'll show you what I mean. Henry, looks like that does it.
Well, I still have to be shown. Wow. We're way under the limit.
This is where we came in, isn't it? Francis and Henry on their way to Europe. Thousands of people take off from this airport every day. Secretaries, housewives, mothers with small children, businessmen, sportsmen, teachers and scientists. People of 1,001 occupations. And although it's the end of our story, for Henry and Francis, it's only the beginning of a vacation that made a dream come true.
So, some people in the comments noticed that Mary Gordon travel advisor for TWA, was a fluid person in that there were multiple Mary Gordons. And this is very similar to Carol Lane, which is was featured in a film excerpt that I had, which is called Packing a Suitcase. Carol Lane was a travel consultant for, suddenly I can't remember the gas station. Shell? I think it was Shell. And she packs a suitcase just like Mary Gordon does. And there were multiple Carol Lanes and there were multiple Mary Gordons. So I guess that was a thing that big companies that were travel related would have these fake characters that would give hints and tips. And I guess there was a lot of anxiety about packing suitcases because supposedly this was a thing, because both Mary and Carol addressed how to efficiently pack a suitcase, because maybe that's the thing, is the stereotype is that women don't pack, they have too many suitcases, and so efficiently packing is just beyond them as a gender. I would argue that men probably are just the same way. I am certainly not the most efficient as far as packing a suitcase. But it's fascinating nonetheless. I like watching films about travel from different time periods because it gives us a sense of how far we've come and how we've stepped back in some regards. A lot of people talk about air travel as being like riding a bus in the sky, which I have to admit, I've seen it happen within my lifetime. There was an elegance to air travel that is now gone. Paying $5 for a bag of peanuts, a big bag of peanuts, but a bag of peanuts nonetheless. So yeah, that's definitely a loss. All right, so what else do we got coming up? I should say, if you like what you see, you can buy us coffee. I'm pointing at the link right here, buymeacoffee.com/avgeeks. You can also hit like, subscribe, notifications, and avgeeks.com is a place that a lot of previous shows live. And also, I should say that this is our 299th show. So tomorrow is going to be a special 300th show. And we're going to do some drawings, and we're going to do some letting you folks pick some films to watch. And so what we'll do is that everybody that wants to participate in the drawing will need to chime in, and I'll mention this tomorrow, so that we can assign you a number so we can do a drawing for stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's how it's going to work tomorrow, and I'll be joined by my wife, who will help with the logistics of it all. Let's see, what do we got? Like 15 minutes or so. This next film is it's an interesting film. It was shown at business meetings. It's about interpersonal relationships, not sexual relationships or romantic relationships, but just how you interact with other people and the positives and the negatives. This film is Who Did What for Whom?
Every time I let go of this ball, it moves in the same direction. Every time. But that's one of the inescapable things about the laws of nature. You just can't turn them on or off. The laws of nature operate whether we like it or not. There are some natural laws having to do with human performance, too. For example, watch this scene.
Hi, where'd you get the lollipop? My mommy gave it to me as a reward for crying. You mean your mommy wants you to cry? I guess so. Every time I cry, she gives me a lollipop.
Now, you just know there was something wrong with the way that mother was handling that situation. And if there are better or worse ways to handle human interactions, it follows there must be some principles worth knowing about. And of course there are, but you can't turn them on or off either. But if you understand how they operate, you can arrange things so that they'll work for you rather than against you. And that's what this practice film is about. The object is to give you some practice with some real live people situations to help you sharpen up your skill at recognizing 4 of these principles in action. Now, we've used a variety of situations in these scenes, around the office, around the house, around the school. But don't be misled. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are, the principles are the same. The procedure will be quite simple. After each scene, you'll be asked 3 or 4 questions about who did what to whom. For a few of the scenes, you'll be asked your suggestions for improvement. You'll have to watch closely, though, because each scene is short and to the point.
You know, that was a very nice thing for you to do.
Well, thank you for saying so.
Hey, watch me juggle.
Hey, that's really great. You kept them up longer this time than you did yesterday. Good for you.
And she kept nagging and nagging.
So what did you do?
Oh, what could I do? I bought her the mink.
And I think you've earned this increase in salary. I'm going to give you a 5% raise.
You call that a raise?
Here, let me help you.
Well, look who's here. You're a little late, aren't you?
Here, let me help you.
I dislike a guy who likes to help a girl out.
Oh, all right. You can have one more cookie, but then you must do your homework.
Okay, you can have the car tonight, but I want the grass cut in the morning.
John, you did such a good job on that report, I'm going to let you do the really tough ones. You're just the man for the job. That's right, John. It wasn't easy, but I managed to get my department in $10,000 under budget this year.
Oh, now I can reduce your budget $10,000 next year.
All right, now if you don't quiet down, I'm going to tar and feather the lot of you.
What can I do? There's never anything to do around here. I'm bored.
Oh, all right. Get in the car and I'll take you to a movie.
Mr. Clark, have I got news for you. I just found your wallet and all your money's still in it. Hey, Mom, look what I did in school today.
Wipe your mouth.
Oh, I hope you don't mind my working till midnight, but I want to finish this report before you left in the morning.
Mary, your desk is a mess.
All I want to do in this course is help you learn to love books and reading.
I just finished reading a book last night, Miss Page.
Good, then you can be the first to write a book report.
And if I ever catch you doing that again, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home to Mother. That's what I'm going to do.
And I worked real hard to get my budget in by his deadline.
Was it okay?
I don't know. It's been sitting on his desk for the past 3 weeks.
I've got this great idea for the next scene. I'll be the star, of course. Now, here's how we'll work it. The scout will come in, and... well, maybe not.
But I've called him 8 times and he hasn't returned a single call. I'm not going to call him again.
Jackson said he had the meeting in Detroit today. Very confidential. You want me to tell you about it?
Gee, is it 11 o'clock already? Hey, Dad, I'm ready to go to the dance. How do I look?
Have you learned to dress yourself? Look at your hair. Why don't you comb it?
Boss, I was listening in on Mr. Johnson's line. He was having a fight with his wife, and did I hear something juicy?
Oh, sit down and tell me about it.
Oh, all right. Go out and play, but then you've got to practice your piano.
Late again.
Hi, boss. Sorry I'm late again.
Oh, that's all right, Sam. We're glad to have you anytime.
And not only that, Mr. Jensen, but I didn't send a single student to you all year long for punishment.
Do you know who's in charge of the mimeograph machine this month?
Aw, Dad, can I have a quarter? Please, Dad? Huh? Give me a quarter, please? Oh, come on.
Oh, all right. Here's a quarter. Now leave me alone.
Well, boss, tomorrow I leave on vacation.
Sorry, Tom, but you didn't finish your project. I'm afraid you'll just have to cancel your trip.
Well, Charlie, the meeting's about ready to start. This is your big moment. You ready?
Just a minute.
What's that for?
Luck. Oh, I didn't think this would be ready until tomorrow.
Well, I knew you were in a hurry for it, so I skipped coffee.
Well, I really appreciate this, Barbara. This will make the whole department look good, and especially you. Thanks.
Hi, boss. Working on Sunday? Thought you were on vacation.
I am, but I want to get this job done first.
You know, I think we're going to need some window shades around this place. It's beginning to look a little shabby.
You know, every time she gives me bad service, I tip her a little extra. But it doesn't seem to do any good. She still gives me bad service.
And furthermore, the sound quality has been pretty bad. Now, what are you going to do about it?
You know, I was more successful this year, Dean. I worked with 50% more students, and I increased the number of students who deserved an A.
You know, that committee report you turned in really wasn't very complete.
Anyhow, I wrote to Mrs. Potts, and she said, no, they don't take children under 12, but there are places along the way that you can leave them. And I said, well, but Mrs. Potts, really, the four of us should stay together, don't you think? And she said, well, I don't know, but I'll see what I can do. So I said, well, Mrs. Potts, here, I'll tell you what, let us do. We'll take the trip, providing that we can take our 12-year-old with us. And she said, well, I'm sorry, my dear, but you can't take your 12-year-old. And I said, but Mrs. Potts, we have to take the 12-year-old. What are we going to do?
And she kept nagging and nagging.
So what did you do?
What else could I do? I kept reading the newspaper. She nagged, I read.
You know, you really look young when you smile like that.
Don't you ever shave?
She kept nagging and nagging.
So what did you do?
What else could I do? I hauled off and belted her one. That's what I did.
Well, there you are. There are other principles of human performance, of course, but you've had practice in recognizing and correcting 4 of the more important ones. That is, to increase the likelihood of a performance, why, turn on a positive event, or see to it that an aversive or negative event is turned off. And to decrease the likelihood that a performance will be repeated, try not to follow it with anything at all. Just try to ignore it, or turn on an aversive or unpleasant event. But use punishment with a great deal of caution, because the results are less predictable and more potentially troublesome. The best policy is to use the positive approach wherever possible, glow on desired performance, and try to ignore undesired performance. Actually, I'd like to go into these principles in considerably more detail.
I love films like this, but obviously some of you, according to your comments, do not. And even it makes fun of itself. It realizes how relentless it was at the very end by having the narrator get a pie in the face. But this is a fascinating film, and it was shown in different contexts. So, obviously, by the little skits, you could tell some of it was for business, interpersonal stuff. Some of it was for family. Some of it was with just, adults talking to other adults. The main person behind it, RF Major was his name? RF, I'm getting his name wrong. RF. But anyways, he passed away last year. Late last year. But I love this film. And I like these types of films that are these kind of tests where they present a situation. And at some point, maybe I'll do a supercut where I'll mix and match these little scenarios because they're very similar to me in my brain and thoroughly entertaining for me. Although some of you would probably hate this and curse my name. One way you can curse my name is by buying me coffee. Caffeine is the drug of choice with AV Geeks, and we very much appreciate it when we get coffee. And again, you can hit like, subscribe. You can tell other people about what we're doing. And tomorrow is the big day, our 300th show. A silver lining on a dark cloud that is the pandemic, but allowed me to show lots and lots and lots of films to folks like you, and I very much appreciate that opportunity. We've watched over 1,280 films so far, and very much appreciate this opportunity and this platform, and that you guys mostly dig what I'm showing. At least you're responding to it. So tomorrow, like I said, will be a special show. We'll do drawings and giveaways, and also we'll give you the opportunity to pick which films we'll be watching. Now, it won't be a free-for-all because some of the films, I'm obviously going to have to go and pull some films, and then I will have some films accessible. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that aspect of it because I have a bunch of files here, but it requires some setup. So everybody have a good rest of your Thursday, and as always, we look to the film can to tell us to please rewind and to love each other, including yourself. And we will see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.